Hello guys, it's Jim coming at you again. Pardon the sweat, I am a working man. Something I wanted to share with you. Friday night, me and my baby went out for a nice dinner. On the way home, well, after I got home, the Lord asked me a question. I know this question, it came to me. And I know you've seen the title of this video. Should you take the vaccination? The Lord asked me this question, and I know the Lord asked me this question because I'm not smart enough to think of this. And here was the question. If Trump was still president, would you take the vaccination? So it got me thinking. Now, you know, I've told you the story. I had the COVID back in December, early January. And it was, you know, I'm 54. It was a butt kicker, okay? I wasn't in a hospital or anything, but it was a butt kicker, something that you don't want. So, should you take the vaccination? The Lord asked me that question, and I started thinking. And I knew what he was asking. Am I just being rebellious? Have I let politics come into play on this thing? And I knew I had. So I got busy Friday night, Saturday morning, looking, studying, because I really hadn't paid a whole lot of attention about anything. And I know I just put out another video about the president's mandates and all that, which I disagree with. He's out of his bounds. He doesn't have that right. But I'm talking on a personal note here. Should you take the vax? So I had to ponder this question. And I'm, you know, as a pastor, a working man, I always just share everything with you, you know, whatever I'm going through, because I don't, you know, sometimes with pastors, they think their life is hunky-dory all the time. So I'm just real. I'm just real with you. If I flip-flop, I flip-flop. Hey, I'm just me. So I go back to my days in the Marine Corps. When I was in the Marine Corps, they just lined us up, gave us shots in this arm, forearm, both butt cheeks, and you're just walking down the line getting all these shots. Didn't even know what they was. Still don't know what most of them was. We had to take shots to go overseas. We just took them. And I can remember, you know, when they were coming out with these mandates, or not with the mandates, coming out with the vaccine, and then Trump ends up getting it, and he's before the vaccine, and he's in the hospital, and he takes the other stuff, and he comes out, but he still takes the vaccine. But at the time, our candidates were very much against it. And now all of a sudden, they're trying to force you to take it. So I really had to do some pondering, do some studying, do some looking. Was I just being a rebel? What did the Lord really want me to do? I went and I looked at a bunch of studies. You can find anything on the internet, guys, any way you want to go, any opinion, whatever. Some say the virus, it just doesn't affect you very much. Some have a butt kicking with it. Many die. Okay, we know all of that is out there. So for me, I'd already had the virus. So I'm thinking, okay, I should be good to go. Well, these studies out of Israel come back, and you can do this. They studied people without the vaccine, people with the vaccine, people that had COVID that had taken the vaccine, and the people that had the COVID that had taken the vaccine, their whatever, I'm not a doctor or nothing, their T cells or whatever, maybe some of you will know what it is, their levels were way high. Now, I know there's a few places of side effects, and I listen to many doctors, and many doctors says you have to weigh the risk, you know, the pros and the cons of the thing. Now, I know there are some people out there, their immune system, their body would reject it, maybe they're allergic, whatever. That's between you and your doctor, and I think it should be a personal choice. But what the Lord was telling me is take the politics out of it. Take the politics out of it. I don't care who's president, whatever. make an educated choice. And I'm going to tell you what I did, guys. Saturday morning, after I concluded all of this, I went to a local pharmacy here in our great town of Cedar Bluff, Randy's Gateway. And I don't really know them personally. I've had a little bit of dealings with them, but I went in and I talked to them, and they ended up taking the shot. I took the Moderna shot Saturday morning about 2 o'clock. I talked to him about it, and I know a lot of people has had the shots, and the second shot has really kicked their butt. Well, as I took the shot, there was a lady in there. She said, well, if you've had the COVID, the second shot, you're fine. The first shot's the butt kicker. I said, well, she was right. There's no way the second shot could be worse than the first one. Sunday, I made it to church and was able to share. The Lord gave me strength to stand about an hour. It was killing me. Probably nobody knew. Tracy knew. Nobody else knew I was suffering. Went back to her place. It just kept getting worse. And I finally made it home. Got into bed, shivering, covered my whole body up, and just every once in a while I would pull the covers down to breathe a little bit. And this went on until about 4 a.m., about 36 hours. And then, came back, had to get up at 6 and go to work. That sucked. I was wore out tired yesterday, but hey, I feel great today. I go back in a month for the second shot. So and I will say this, I'm glad I did it. Okay, so this poses a lot of questions. This morning I stopped in Taco Bell to get some gas and get some nutrition. Great place for nutrition, by the way. And one of my neighbors, used to be my neighbors, Brian, drives for an ambulance, has for years. We were talking about this very thing, and of course they have it, and we live in Southwest Virginia, Russell County, Tazewell County. Most of the state of Virginia, we got a high vaccination rate, but in our area, we don't. And he told me, they have it. He said, if you witnessed what we did, you would go get it. So, that was another one. And I said, well, I'm glad I did. I feel a little better about it now because I was very skeptical. I'm glad the Lord put that question in my mind. I wasn't living in fear, but I really wasn't paying attention. I just didn't give it much thought. And as a pastor, you want to share and be forthcoming. And so I wanted to share this video. Now, it brings a lot of other questions because he was talking to this other guy, Brian was, down in Russell County. And the guy says, well, if it's your time to go, it's your time to go. I ain't taking that vax. Well, let me tell you something about that statement. I've heard that statement for years. And that is a stupid statement. I don't know where people come up with that. Unless they come up with it out of Hebrews, it's appointed unto men once to die. They pulled that out of context because that was a reference back to the Garden of Eden when Adam, if you eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, in the day you eat, thou shalt surely die. That was an appointment. And let me tell you, if you read all of those verses there, Jesus met that appointment, okay? So I was at a funeral one time, and these people were saying the same thing. Boy, if it's your time to go, it's your time to go. And here they are wearing masks and putting on hand sanitizer. I'm thinking that's kind of stupid, And if we really going to believe this context, if it's your time to go, it's your time to go, then what we're really saying is God is behind all the abortions because it was that baby's time to go. And all the 2-year-olds that die from child abuse or get killed in a car wreck, God did it, right? It was their time. See, that's a ludicrous statement. No biblical statement whatsoever. Jesus came that we might have life. Now, and I'll tell you this. This body that I have, it will die and it will go back to the dust, and I will go on to be with the Lord, but then I'll get a new body, a glorious body fashioned like his most glorious body, and we'll live on. Myself, the me won't die. I will be with the Lord. That was a promise. Jesus took the sting of death so This has got nothing to do with any of that stuff. And another thing that people say is, well, if you take this vaccine, that means you don't have faith. And I've seen church signs and they say, boy, don't come in here with the mask and do all of that stuff. And I bet all of those people wore a seatbelt driving to that church. Now, why is that? You know, I was in a bad car wreck one time. I was 17 years old. Let me just tell you this in a nutshell here real quick. Me and Jeff and Kenny's his little brother, we was going to go lift weights, 17. And driving a Ford Topaz, if you guys remember those Ford Topaz. And we pulled out, it's a rainy day, midsummer. We're listening to Hank Jr., Country Boys, and the song we had on the radio, I'll never forget it, Mr. Weatherman. Mr. Weatherman. So we're driving down the road and Kenny's flying, he's 16, we're 17. He's flying down the road. We didn't have seatbelts on, we're just riding. This is 1983. So I look up at Kenny and I say, Kenny, you better slow down, you're gonna wreck and kill us all. Jeff said, hey, slow down. Well, he don't. I said, I'm gonna put my seatbelt on. Well, I put my seatbelt on. In those days, all you had in the back seat was a lap belt. And Jeff put his buckle on. Jeff was sitting in the passenger seat, put his on and buckled it. About that same time, Kenny looked, we're singing, Mr. Weatherman, and he jerked the wheel like he's Mr. Cool, jerked the wheel to scare us a little bit. Wet roads, Ford Topaz, he lost it. We hit a bank head on, 70 miles an hour, flipped for 101 feet. I'm in the back seat with my seatbelt on, slamming around everywhere, bust the window out with my head. Jeff is up there. Kenny doesn't have his seatbelt on, goes through the front window and gets thrown out over my head out the back window, and the car lands on him. 3 of us in the car, 2 of us with seatbelts, 1 with not. From that moment on, and yes, he survived. Yes, he survived. From that day forward, I have never went without riding with my seatbelt on in a vehicle. And I make my kids wear their seatbelts. Does that mean I don't have faith? Yeah, it just means that I'll wear my seatbelt. I think it's a good conscious choice. So don't let people come at you and say, if you take the vaccine, that means you don't have faith. That is nonsense. That's religion. And just as much as politics tries to come at you and hold sway over you, religion will come at you and try to hold sway over you. Listen, the Lord came to me with the question, if Donald Trump was still president, would you take the vaccine? In other words, take the politics out of it. Take all the politics out of it. And do your research. Talk to your doctors. I took the vaccine. I feel comfortable that I took the vaccine. And I want to encourage you to get involved, study it out, see what's best for you. I know a lot of these companies are going to be mandated. It's going to come out. That's not why I did it. I had planned to fight. I was looking at all this other stuff, I'd planned on fighting. But some of the little simple things that come at you. Earlier this summer, I had poison oak all over my arm. And you know what I did with that poison oak? I put calamine lotion on it. Does that mean I don't have faith? No, I had poison oak. It was itching me to death. I put calamine lotion on it. And I know some people say, well, Smith Wigglesworth, he wouldn't allow any medicine in his house. Well, for one thing, I'm not Smith Wigglesworth, and neither are you. But I'll go back to Paul, the apostle, who told his son, Timothy, to take a little wine for his stomach's sake. So I believe in natural remedies. I take, I'm going to give a little promo out here for this. I had looked at Nature's Own. I believe that's what it is. You see it advertised on Fox all the time. I don't take that. But I got to reading and researching because I've always been big in vitamins and stuff. Well, I found this other one called Caramed, K-A-R-A-M-E-D. It's just fruits and vegetables. No fillers, no additives. Cost you about $40 a month. You take four a day. I get up in the morning, it's right beside of my bed. I take it, and I'll tell you, I have slept better. I've got more energy. So I believe in the natural stuff. Does that mean I don't have faith? No. I believe in the natural stuff. I put calamine lotion on my poison oak. That doesn't mean I don't have faith. I have faith that the good Lord gave us common sense and ideas to combat some of this stuff. And one of these guys, he made up a good question or a good comment, because when that guy told him, hey, if it's your time, it's your time, he said, well, if this virus was from God, then God wouldn't have gave us the cure for it in the vaccine and these other, there's more than one cure. There's more ways to combat it. And I will say there's other things that you can do. Some people will make it, they'll be fine. A lot of people won't. So do your research. Okay, this virus is not a judgment from God. This virus is because some weirdo people wanted to play with nature over there in Wuhan, and they made it. You know it and I know it. They made it, and it got loose ever how, and here it is, and it's wiping people out. So I took the vaccine. I took the Moderna. I'm glad I did. It doesn't change my faith one bit. When I leave here in a few minutes, I'm going to be putting my seatbelt on. I'm going to have my boomstick in my pocket. If I get poison oak, I'll put on the calamine lotion. I take my vitamins. I try to exercise every day. I'd still do walking, but yet I still took the vaccine. So that's where I'm at. That's where I stand. Not promoting or de-promoting. What I'm telling you is take the politics out. Please take the politics out of it. Okay? Now, I'm going to stop there. If you like this video, share it. I'm up to 19 subscribers. Think about that. 19. My goal is, wait for it, 1 million subscribers. That's a little movie reference, if you get it. That'll tell you how old you are if you know who that is. Anyway, I enjoy sharing with you guys. Pass this along. Share it with whoever you want. But please take the politics out of it. And I got some more little short clips I'm excited about sharing with you. They keep rolling. If you guys have any questions, send them to me. And we'll try to cover them there, because there's a lot of Bible stuff that I want to cover. Okay, little questions, little things that keep people in condemnation. Okay, so anyway, I'll stop with that. Lord bless you all, and we'll see you next time right here on Think About That.